All right, let's talk about media and avoiding the fear. I just went on a long one about television media, but this is a bit different. It is television media, but it's also media everywhere. It's the news media, the media you consume, whether it's news reporting, journals, newspapers for those of you who still have access, online articles, all those sorts of things. Consider what you're consuming is the whole point of raising your vibration. One of the whole points, because you are what you eat, you are what you consume. If you're watching news all day long, pay attention to the news you're watching. Pay attention to the headlines. I was recently at my parents' and they have the news on all day long. I've tried to get them to stop doing it because they play it in the background. They're like, oh, we just play it in the background, but they don't understand this concept of if you play it in the background, it's still programming you. And I sat there and the news was on. In every single video, maybe except for one, every single story that they showed for a half hour, an hour, whatever it was, fear. Oh my God, look what happened. Oh my God, we should be scared. Oh my God, the world is falling apart. What are you consuming? Remember, that manifests in your life. That manifests vibrationally. It manifests around you. That energy comes to you and it programs your mind to think of things in these outcomes. And it programs you to be controlled. Because if you're afraid, it's the easiest to control someone. It's easier to control someone who is afraid, not someone who is in their power and confident. If you are afraid, you are easily controlled. You can be easily manipulated with information. So pay attention. What are you consuming? What are the articles of the headlines saying? What is the article itself saying? What is the reporter saying? What words are they using? They don't just speak those words. They prepare them. What words are they saying? How are they saying it? This whole idea of Plato's cave and questioning reality before in one of the earlier lessons. Think about that while you're consuming media. What are you not seeing? The media, the report, the article, the video, whatever it is, the scene on your television, those are the shadows on the wall. Those are the shadows on the wall. What's creating the shadows on the wall? What's really behind the shadows? What's the truth in nature of what's going on? For those of you watching this, there's a lot of that around the pandemic. There's a lot of lying, a lot of manipulation, a lot of fear-based storytelling. I've seen tons of it. I've been aware of this since I was in high school. I had a teacher in high school who taught us, pay attention to media. Pay attention to what's written on a billboard. Pay attention to what the commercial says. Pay attention to the people who are in the commercial. Pay attention to the way they move, the way they interact. Pay attention to the symbolism, the symbols being used. Pay attention to every aspect. One of the best teachers I ever had. I used that. I knew it resonated with me immediately. And I know the rest of the class, it probably was just kind of like, that makes sense. We're going to use that in our writing. We're going to use symbolism because we were learning about symbolism and how to tell stories and these different things to understand literature, essentially, because she was teaching us to pay attention to literature, to pay attention to the elements in literature by relating it to what we knew, which was television advertising and billboards and magazine articles. But it applies. Pay attention to every detail. What is the news media using when they use words? Are they simply promoting a fair response? Does the headline, when you read it, is it instantly like, oh my God, that's terrible? Why do they focus on celebrity deaths? Why do they focus on perfect families who lost one person? Why do they focus on these negative aspects? To make you afraid, to lower your vibration, to give you emotions of anxiety, worry, jealousy, fear, anger, hate. They're not giving you the full story. And when you wake up to that, you realize how much you've been lied to, and it's a terrible thing to realize. So when you wake up to that, it's very difficult to wrap your mind around how warped our reality has become because of media. But that's part of waking up. Part of waking up is looking around and knowing the truth and understanding the truth and realizing, wow, this is all fake. This is all control. And they're literally trying to keep us in states of fear, anxiety, worry, etc., 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 so that we're easy to manipulate, easy to control, and we stay in a low vibration. That's why I talk a lot about consumption. What you consume, even if it's in the background, like my family plays in the background, and I'm working on getting them out of slowly, even if it plays in the background of your home, what are you consuming? You're still consuming it if it's in your environment. You're still consuming it if you're with a family and your brother and sister, your mom and dad are playing that media. It's still in your environment. What are you consuming and how can you shift it? How can you make it better so that you're not consuming fear? There's a reason people on political parties of each side get so angry and spiteful against each other, because they're consuming media designed to make their team hate the other team. They're not consuming media that says, really, if we sat down and talked, we have a lot of the same interests. We're just speaking about them differently. We're just going about them differently. We just have different viewpoints of how to get there. But we're really, we really want peace and love and this sort of thing. No, they train people. If you're on this team, you have to hate this team. If you're on this team, you have to hate this team. You have to be afraid of them. They're coming for you. They're going to take everything for you. They're going to hurt you. They're going to reduce your right to thrive. That is the media, because it gets people watching. It gets people watching. It gets people consuming. It controls them. It shifts the narrative to what they want. And it lowers your vibration and keeps you in that state. Pay attention to that. Political shows are terrible for this. They're just fighting. People fighting back and forth. Reality TV shows that, shame people, that feed on the greed and jealousy and envy emotions of others. Social media, it doesn't have to be news, television. It can be social media, online articles. If you start watching, you're going to start seeing the articles come up and you're going to be like, wow, there's a lot of fearful wording, a lot of emotional wording in the headlines, in the teaser that draws you in the picture. What is the picture they show with the article? How are they trying to draw you in? It's something to wake up to. So that's the lesson for today. It's simply just pay attention to the media, the news media, the social media you're consuming. How does it make you feel? Like I said before in the last video, does it make you feel happy? Does it give you emotions of joy? Or does it make you feel lazy? Does it make you feel angry, hateful, fearful, anxious, worried, jealous, whatever it is? If it makes you feel those things, if your first response is, oh my God, something's wrong, something's off, and it's affecting your vibration. So be very, very careful with the media you're consuming, because it's not always the truth, the whole truth, or even the gray middle. And it's often the case that there's an agenda behind it to keep you reading more and to keep you watching more. Thank you again for watching, and we'll get on to the next lesson.